how much do you stay with this game, or do you really? How much does this game use as messaging, knowing that when you start the playoff game, there's going to be it's not the same players. Players are going to go off on international duty. Some players are going to be back. So essentially, it'll be a different team. So how much do you use this game to prepare for, I don't know when you play, Brian, but 10, 12 days from now or 2 weeks?
Well, Maz, I think I know where you're going with your question. What I would say to you is this. The message is going to be an important one, because what I told you guys before the game was that we needed the team to have a good performance. I thought it was a good performance. Certainly the goal, certainly we'll take a look at that. But I think overall we had a chance to win it at the end. Yes, they created some chances. It was a good back and forth game. But the messaging is, Vancouver supporters were overjoyed just to make the playoffs. I don't think they understood that we had just won the Cascadia Cup. And our players were presented with the Cascadia Cup, and we celebrated with our supporters an actual trophy. And the standard that we set at this club is a big one. It's a high bar. And so guys were ticked off in the locker room that we drew, that we couldn't find a second goal, regardless of Nico's absence or JP's absence or, Jordy Delem's absence or, anybody's absence, Raul, because that group and the messaging to the group is, we've had a good season by many accounts, but at the end of the day, the lapses of concentration over the course of the last 5 games has let us down, or we could have been in first place. So the messaging from this game is absolutely relevant. Playoff games sometimes are decided by one play, either way, offensively or defensively. And you cannot have a lapse in concentration on any play in a playoff game or you go home. So the answer to your question, Maz, which was a good one, is, the messaging is critical. They'll hear it over and over and over and over again that we need to do a little bit better. Thanks. Messaging just now in the coaches' room. I told them, starting with myself, is I have to go through all of the details, all the little details that might be minutia, now have to be solved. Make sure that the players have the tools to be successful. Make sure the tactics, make sure the physical prep, the mental prep, all of that sort of stuff. So we are actually, we're going to certainly live in this moment. It's the end of a long season. But at the end of the day, we're already starting to go back to work.
Thanks.
Jeremiah.
Yeah, Brian, you sort of alluded to this, but I mean, how do you go about balancing the frustrations that the players obviously felt, which were, I assume not just about today, but about going into the playoffs on 6 straight without a win, but also, reminding them that in a lot of ways this was a really successful season and that you go into the playoffs in a pretty strong position, all things considered.
Yeah, I told them I was extremely proud of the group for the adversity that they had overcome throughout the course of the year. Jeremiah, that was also part of my message, because it's true. The team has overcome a ton of adversity. I told you guys, I'll keep telling you guys, MLS is a hard league. Look what happened to Kansas City. They probably thought they had a shot, to come in first at home, and RSL and, the Galaxy probably wanted to be in the playoffs. And I mean, it's a hard league. Some of the East games this earlier today were exciting and hard games. So it wasn't lost on me. It's not lost on those players that we have put ourselves in a relatively good position, to make a run in deep in the playoffs. But again, it comes back to just making sure that when our players come back from international duties and they come back from injury, that we have enough time to make the group cohesive, because that's the other challenge we're going to face. So we'll start working on that and see what we can do.
Felipe.
Coach Brian, I have two questions. One is, do you have somebody in the bench telling you how the other scores were going on? And my second question is, we were talking about the success of the team winning the Cascadia Cup, but also a reflection that I would like you to do about the use of the younger players throughout the regular season. I mean, there were, like you just said, call-ups for international duty, players with injury, but there were always players that were taking those spots.
Well, again, I think I've reflected enough about the game, about the Cascadia Cup. It's an important trophy for us. Let me get to your younger player comment, Felipe. So I thought Danny Leva came on and did a great job when he came on the field. I thought Josh Atencio started the season off very well. He was not the worst player on the field in the first half, but that was planned to get Jordan 45 minutes. So it's a little unfortunate because sometimes it is hard for the younger players to break through on our team. We have sometimes a very experienced team, but we have young players coming up through our system that we believe in. We believe that they are good players. The guys down below have done a good job of training them. All the academy guys and Wade and Mikey and Henry, all those guys, they do a good job. So that is coming. We will need all of those players next season because you guys saw the announcement. The season is going to be even shorter next year because of the World Cup. And then we're going to play in Champions League. And, you know, we have other competitions. So it's important that the younger players understand that they have to earn their minutes and time, but it's also, we're going to have a leap of faith to play them because we're going to need them. So we're working on both of those, you know, opportunities to make sure that the team is successful.
Jada Evans.
Thanks. I had a two-parter for you, Brian. If you could, as far as the players that you left out with Yao Paulo and Raul, where was that kind of precautionary, or should they read anything into it, especially with Yao Paulo's injury? And then number two was just if you could kind of share a little bit of what happened there at the end in front of goal on Javier's, but there was a scrum with Nuhu and all of that. Was there anything to make of that?
I didn't hear the last tail end of your question, Jada. You were fuzzing in and out. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, the last part, the second question was about the scrum that happened there at the mouth of goal. You know,
Oh, at the end of the game.
Yeah, at the end of the game. I don't know if there's anything
No. Yeah. So let me tell you, JP and Raul will be ready for the playoff games. At the end of the game, look, it was a heated game. It was a fiercely contested match. I thought, you know, with a little bit of luck, you know, maybe we poke that ball in, it goes over the line. You know, I don't know what their goalkeeper was doing, trying to push Javi. I don't know if he felt like Javi had, you know, ran into him or done something, you know, deceivious or whatever. I don't know, Jada, but tempers sometimes flare, certainly in playoff games, certainly against your rivals. I think it all kind of, you know, the referee at the end of the day made a good decision. He calmed everybody down and then the game was over. But, you know, that happens. It's a playoff type game.
Mickey Turner.
Thanks. Coach, just wanted to, you talked a little bit about getting the returning players integrated. What do you see as, in doing that, what do you see as kind of your biggest challenge? Is it the formational, you know, getting them with the formation or just getting them game time? What is kind of your biggest concern about getting them back?
I think it's a combination of both the physical prep, Mickey, but then also the tactical side of it. You know, how do we play Jordan? So in the first half, I thought we played okay, you know, outside of the goal. And then, we changed into a different formation in the second half with Jordan and Montero up front as 2 forwards and 3 midfielders. And, it wasn't until kind of Danny inserted himself into the game. I don't think we were as, good in our possession in some of those moments. And so is it personnel in that 5-3-2? Is it Jordan? Is it going back to 4-2-3-1? Do we, play our house shape with Jordan and Christian or Jordan and Nico? I mean, we'll have to see. But, I think it's on both fronts, because even if the guys do come back, Raul, Nico, JP and all that, they wouldn't have played in a long stretch of time. And then, because they were muscular injuries, we might be on a time restriction with some of those players when they come back. They won't be 90-minute fit.
Alonso.
Thank you, Matt. How are you, Coach? Coach, with the amazing performance tradition that Sounders has shown during playoff, do you still think it is an advantage playing at home, especially when teams fear to play Sounders in this phase?
Yeah, of course. Look, I know there was a lot of talk about our home form this year. Certainly it's true. I mean, the record speaks for itself. We haven't been as efficient at home as perhaps we could be. But, I would bet on my team in a home playoff game. I think we have a good chance. I think our fans will lift us. I think the players like playing at home. It's cloudy, rainy, dark, it's turf. I mean, there's a lot of things that can work for us there.
All right, guys, I think we have time for one more. So Jeremiah, please close us out.
Yeah, you didn't mention Nico there. Just what's his status? We saw on the injury report that it was knee inflammation. If you could just kind of tell us a little bit more about that.
That one, Jeremiah, will just continue to be, excuse me, when his knee swelling goes away, it'll be safe for him to get back out on the field. So, he had the surgical procedure back in Chicago, and, it just takes some time for that to, ramp him up efficiently and try and get him back this year. Knowing Nico, he will be back. It's just, again, he's one of the guys that there might be a time limit on the amount of minutes until we can build him up. And of course, if we go into a deeper playoff run, the more time he has, the better for his knee and better for the team.
All righty, I think that'll wrap things up for us tonight. Coach, thanks for joining us. Have a safe trip home.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks
See you
for
this week.
everybody all year long. Thank you.